Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of Nostalgia Bit. I'm joined as always by my wonderful co-host Cooper Britton. Welcome.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Wonderful. This is great because we get to talk about Doctor Who today. And I am Doctor Who man.
The big Doctor Who. And you're the Doctor Who man.
I'm not only a Doctor Who man, I'm also incredibly hungover. So we're moving. So today we're doing something that I think we kind of came up with after doing a couple Doctor Who episodes here on Nostalgia Bit a while back. We were like, we should do like a series ranking. I think it was after the newest season came out. We were like, we need to do that. We need to actually talk about the other seasons of Doctor Who. And I thought, we'll definitely do more podcast episodes like this. And this is our sort of big one, I think, jumping straight into like a season ranking. 18...
I'm going to keep it a $1.50 with you right now, okay? Two different things. One, it was only today when you messaged me that I thought you'd miswrote it and we were doing an episode ranking. So...
But Cooper, tell me how we could fit an episode ranking of 2005 onwards into...
No, I like our top 5 episodes. That's what I thought it was going to be. That kind of thing. So, that number one.
That would have been good as well. Shit, might have fucked it. Never mind.
Number two, let's get that first of all, let's get that in the diary. Second of all, and this is not even for you, I want to keep it a $1.50 with everyone watching here, okay? I like Doctor Who. I think I'm a reasonably sized fan of Doctor Who.
Didn't know where that was going there.
Upon making this list, it is abundantly clear that I have either not watched some of these seasons, or I have not watched some of these seasons since I was about fucking 5-year-old.
I didn't know this until Cooper dropped this truth bomb onto me as starting the call. So I'm excited to see what you haven't seen. But I think that's also fine, because I think you have seen all of it. As someone who's grown up with you, I feel like I've known... Like you've watched a lot of them, if not all of them.
There's one season that I definitely know I've not seen.
Which is...
We'll know, because we'll save it because it's my bottom of the list.
Oh, really? Okay.
The other thing is, the David Tennant seasons are fucking incredible. I've not seen those David Tennant seasons in full since they probably came out, or hereafter, because I had the fucking box sets for them when I was a kid. So, like...
But you're working your way through them again now, are you? So you're doing
I've started watching
2.
season... Because last year I watched series 1.
Series... Got to specify, haven't we?
Series... Because not last year, start of this year, I watched series 1. And then more recently I started watching... I'm about halfway through series 2. So we will see. Series 3, series 4, I've not seen for a fucking long time.
I'm excited. You know what? I'm telling you, you'll watch series 3 and 4, and I think you'll be like, holy shit, I should have watched this again before now. This is incredible TV. Because I shit you not, series 3 and 4 of Doctor Who are pretty good. Not to spoil where my list is going to go. Just to clarify for everyone, we're going to be ranking from 18th to 1st, so it's going to be a hell of a long one. We're going to try and power through as quickly as we can, not waffle on about each series too much. And just to clarify, that is series 1, 2, 3, 4, the 2009 specials. That is series 5, 6, 7, the 50th anniversary specials. That is series 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 / Flux, the 2022 specials, the 60th anniversary specials, and the Disney season 1 with Ncuti Gatwa. I think that's all of them, isn't it? Yeah, excellent. I fucking smashed that. Not even looking at the list. Well done. Cool. So I think without any further ado, we've got a lot to get through. So let's start with our 18th place. Cooper, what is your least favourite, or pretty sure you haven't seen it, season?
So, upon doing this list today, it is abundantly clear that I have not seen this season.
Really?
I have not seen Series 9. I've seen Heaven Sent and Hell Bent and Husband of River Song, and I think Return of Dr. Mysterio I've seen. I have not seen this series at all.
You haven't seen the opener on Scarrow?
No.
You haven't seen the one in the, like, underwater base?
No. This is Clara's last season as well, and I don't think I've seen Face the Raven either.
No, I think you did, because you didn't like Clara at the time, and I think you were very happy about it. No, but I think you were like, let's go, like fucking celebrating when Face the Raven happened.
I think I watched Series 8.
Oh, man. This is interesting.
Because I think I watched Series 8, fell off, didn't watch any of Series 9, and any of the specials, and then I remember you telling me to watch Series 10.
Right. That's
probably
right, actually.
Because I remember Series 10 was releasing, and I think I watched episode 1 and 2, didn't watch it for a few weeks, and then when Worlds Enough in Time was coming out, I binge watched them all the other ones in about 2 or 3 days.
Love that.
Waiting up for Will Nothing Time and Doctor Falls, because I remember watching
that
Will
was a
Nothing Time and
big
Dr. Falls
hype.
Came out.
That was a big hype coming
because
behind
John
that.
Sim.
Yeah,
because
that was
John
it.
Sim was confirmed to be in it,
That
and I
was
wanted to watch it.
Huge thing. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about my thoughts on series 9 when I get to it, I guess. My 18th is the 2022 specials, which is Eve of the Daleks, Legend of the Sea Devils, Power of the Doctor. Maybe we do our sort of classic nostalgia bit special with lists where we only talk about it when we both mentioned it, maybe.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll do that.
So what's your 17th, Cooper?
My 17th is Series 3. This is purely because I don't know, before we fucking have another what's it called? Before we have another Empire Strikes Back, right? I hand on heart have not seen the season since fucking either it came out or I was just after.
Going to fucking scream when you watch it.
Because
I look back. You will watch it when you rewatch this, which you will. You will rewatch it and you'll go back and you'll go, I can't believe I put this second last.
The only things I remember from this is I remember Blink and I remember Last of the Time Lords. That's the only 2 things I remember from it.
Sorry, just to clarify, 100%. You don't remember Utopia?
No. No. The name doesn't ring a bell.
Do you know, I love that. Family of Blood?
No, genuinely, this is the thing. I only Blink, obviously, because it's so famous.
Oh, man.
Blink is so famous that I remember it.
Do you think the mad thing about this is I feel like I didn't realise how much you hadn't seen recently.
Last of the Time Lords is with the pocket watch, isn't it?
Kind
then
of.
I might not have seen
that's
Last of the Time Lords
that's Utopia.
Because I had a toy.
I would say.
Oh well, because I had a toy when I was younger, and it was the pocket watch.
That's also
and you pressed it and it opened, and it was like,
noise.
and no, it said there's like the quote that David Tennant goes, where it's like, I'm not just a Time Lord, I'm the last of the Time Lords, like something like that.
That's from that's also from Family of Nature, Human Nature and Family of Blood. There's a whole story in the middle of the series where the Doctor erases his own memory and puts it in the pocket watch to disguise himself from these assassins, and it's a 2-parter where he actually believes he's human, and it's one of the highest regarded stories. Utopia has, I think, still one of the best twists / moments in Doctor Who. Again, we'll talk about it when we get to it. My 17th is the 2008 and 2010 specials. And that is, for those wondering, again, The Next Doctor, Planet of the Dead, Waters of Mars, End of Time, Part 1 and 2. What's your 16th?
My 16th is Series 13, because I really don't like Flux.
Oh, okay, we'll get to that. My
really
16th is Series 12.
Okay.
So, yeah. We have really different lists. I thought we'd have more to talk about already. We're just powering through, and then we'll have lots of conversations. 15th.
My 15th is Series 10. Because I remember not liking much of it up until Will Nothing Time and Doctor Falls.
Okay, that's fair. I will say that's fair. Mine is
when I looked at it, I was like, I don't remember.
Mine is Series 8.
Okay,
so 14th.
my 14th is Series 11.
Mine is Series 7.
Okay.
13th?
Series 4.
What the fuck are you talking about now?
Again,
what are you
Series
actually...
4 I've not... Series 4, again, I've not seen since it came out.
I'll calm.
Chill.
Is it 13th?
Yes.
My 13th is Series 13, Flux. So we can talk about Flux. We can talk about Flux.
Let's talk
about
Flux.
Okay. So Flux for me...
Flux was so hype, but it was...
I've put it higher than a bunch of others, and for reasons that'll become apparent when I talk about Series 7, 8, 12, and the 2 sets of specials. Series 13, I liked at the time. I did. I didn't like how it wrapped up. I really didn't like the finale. I thought it was really cheap and lazy and quick. However, the whole package, I like. And I think the one thing that sets it apart for me is context. And maybe I'm jumping out of focus there again. The thing that sets it apart for me is that sort of context, and maybe that's a sort of bias, and there's probably a few biases in here, given how ingrained I am with the Doctor Who community. They filmed and made this entire thing during COVID,
We've had this conversation before.
And I think it's probably one of the best looking seasons of Doctor Who. And it surprises me that they managed to do that. Yeah, it's only 6 episodes, but they did it in a completely different style, made it one big long story, a bit like Classic Who, had loads of different monsters, loads of different moving pieces. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. And if it was polished and maybe slightly better, it would have been, I think, genuinely a perfect Doctor Who mini-season. But I think it has its flaws. It's not in my sort of top half, but I don't like the ending. And I don't think any of the things go anywhere. But I do like some of the individual episodes, and I like what they're going for. I quite like the Halloween apocalypse. I like the fact there's shit tons going on. I love the War of the Sontarans. That's a lot of fun. New Sontaran design, which looks like the classic one, looks brilliant. I think the characterization of the Sontarans is better than they've been done in New Who. The Village of the Angels, not the best Weeping Angel story, but absolutely, like, genuinely a very good episode in my opinion. Once Upon Time, the sort of flashbacky sort of time, weird one. Yeah, it's sort of like over time, it's the lore stuff that breaks it down for me. It's like the whole thing about her fob watch and the timeless child, and it's like I was so ingrained in it at the time, and now it didn't. And now I know it didn't go anywhere physically on screen. I'm sort of like, I feel like when I rewatch that, I'm like, I don't care about this because it genuinely means nothing for the actual story I'm watching.
That's fair. Series 13 just for me was like, I don't know, it just never felt like I liked having a continuous story again. It was a short period. It just never felt conclusive to me. It was like, there was like the Village of the Angels thing. It was like, the Weeping Angels hadn't been done in so long. And it just felt it was done so slapdash. Like, it felt like it just wasn't written correctly. Like, no explanation why the angels were in it. It was just like they were there and that was it. Like, I wanted something to reflect what they were the last time we saw them. Like, series, what was it? 6, 7?
Yeah,
7, I guess.
Series 7, properly, yeah. I love it. I love the Weeping Angels. I think they're a great thing, and I think they can be overdone, but I think a lot of people criticize the Weeping Angels, but I think I always think the Weeping Angels are very well done, no matter what.
When it's almost been 7 seasons since they've been done, it's like it just felt very slapdash for them the first time back in like however many years.
To just be sense. Like there,
to be like, oh, they're here, yeah.
That's a good point. The rest of the season just kind of, I guess, passes you by a bit.
Yeah, it's like the overarching story never really hooked me in that much. Some of the stuff was cool, but it was like
they link it too much to the whole like the division and Tecteun and these mysterious. I think the biggest missed opportunity I think with this season is they had this mystery about the Doctor's heritage and that they were the first. They're from a species that aren't the Time Lords, and they inherited the ability to regenerate.
Yeah.
So where did she come from? And you've got this villain who at the beginning of the season has a completely different look, and then seemingly regenerates himself in a very different kind of weird CGI way. And then, and it's actually played by 2 actors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, like, the one in the prison shapeshifts into another actor playing the same role.
Yeah.
So it's almost designed to be a regeneration.
I quite enjoyed the stuff like when they
left
the universe and stuff like with Tecteun. I just felt like that was even like the bit like that big thing where she leaves the universe and whatever. It felt like it felt tacked on. It also felt just rushed. Like Tecteun's there, killed, like gone. Like it's that.
It could have been. Like, if it was. I think if the season was 8 episodes, it would have been really
like if
good.
You'd gone into it like she'd gone outside the universe, massive new thing. It just felt so.
Which the whole thing is that the cliffhanger, the visual of like the Village of the Angels, where like 13 turns into a Weeping Angel, and then it's like, oh my god, what an image to end on! Incredible, right? But it gets immediately resolved at the first couple of seconds of the next story. It's that they're just using it to transport her to the division, and then all the Weeping Angels are gone. And it's like, that amazing imagery and idea and like that sort of unique element of that story just completely washes away when you resolve it so quickly. I like loads of stuff about this season, and I don't think it's by any means like the worst. And on reflection, I don't think it's my least favourite Jodie season. But that's comes down to the respect of the production. Like, I love they did this in COVID completely.
Yeah.
One of the only productions to do that. And I think it actually looks better in a lot of places to a lot of other like shit that was produced during COVID. Maybe not like the Batman level, but I certainly think it's a contender with the CGI of No Way Home in places. I think we've got a good balance of things, and I think for a BBC production who, we're at the sort of end of the BBC's original cycle of Doctor Who here before it gets passed over to Disney and Bad Wolf productions, it's like, I don't know, I feel like they really had a good lease of life.
It was the start of something good. Like, it felt like it it kind of felt like a new beginning. Like I know as much of the series specials and stuff.
They tried something new, and I will never criticize them for that. It
No.
wasn't just meaningless episodes. It was they actually made like a overarching story that lasted 6 episodes, and it was a 6-part story. We haven't had that in New Who at all, pretty much. So I loved that. I loved it for that, but beyond that, I don't 100% love it. Anyway, 12th place.
My 12th place is the 2022 specials.
Okay, so we can talk about that.
Yeah.
And my 12th place is the Disney season 1.
Okay, fairs.
So that's quite low down, I think, in a lot of people's estimations, and I'll explain that when we get to that. Let's talk about the 2022 specials. So for you, it's 12th place. For me, it's dead last.
Yeah. You want me to go first, or you go first?
Go for it, go for it.
Eve of the Daleks, don't remember. Legend of the Sea Devils, not good. Power of the Doctor, I fucking love this episode.
I'm with you. So for me, like I really don't like Legend of the Sea Devils. I think it's really just poorly made, and there's obviously a lot of behind the scenes stuff that affected that, and I get that, but it's just not a good episode, and I can't really enjoy it. Eve of the Daleks feels...
I don't remember it.
I feel like Eve of the Daleks is made... No, but I think it was made almost to save money for Power of the Doctor, because Power of the Doctor is brilliant, and it's massive and bombastic. There's probably too much going on. It doesn't really make too much sense. But you know what? I love it. This weird feeling when I watch Power of the Doctor.
Because this episode?
It's because it's the end of that era. Go on.
Sacha Dhawan's Master, which we spoke about
he's great. Yeah, he's just fucking brilliant. I love, though, it's such a clusterfuck of everything. It kind of feels like this perfect sort of end to this era of Doctor Who, knowing now that this is the last episode of the New Who era, if you will, before we get to the Disney stuff, and it's the 60th specials and stuff, new production studio, new team, new everything. It feels weirdly nostalgic watching it now. There's a weird sense of nostalgia watching it. The music, the vibes of it, the fact that it's a regeneration story, you've got your old doctors in there. It really feels like a proper send-off to the show in a weird way. And I feel like if they'd stopped there, it would have been all right in a weird way. I would never want the show to stop because I love seeing it. And
if the regeneration had cut to black and didn't end, it was like,
I would have been like, you know what? Like, okay, you've got a fucking love letter of a story there. And look, it's not perfect. I know it's not. And I'm not saying it's better than the 60th, evidently. I haven't mentioned the 60th specials yet. However, I think you have to balance it out. However good Power of the Doctor is, it is knocked off by Legend of the Sea Devils and Eve of the Daleks. Eve of the Daleks is just in a warehouse.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all.
They tried to do Groundhog Day, and in my opinion, not very well. The best thing about it was the Thasmin stuff. But even that's rushed, because they threw it in 2 episodes before the end, and they wrap it up at the end of Legend of the Sea Devils. It's not even mentioned in Power of the Doctor. That was the most compelling character stuff they had for Yaz as a companion, in my opinion, bar the stuff in Can You Hear Me in Series 12. But yeah.
Yeah. Sacha Dhawan carries.
Yeah. You haven't mentioned the Disney series yet, though.
Well, funny you mentioned the Disney series, George. My number 11 is Season 1, brackets Disney.
Interesting.
Disney.
Mine is Series 2.
Okay. I mentioned Series 2. I've mentioned... No,
let's talk about the Disney series.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I start on this one?
Go.
I love this series. I do. I think it's great. I'm counting the 9 episodes because Church on Ruby Road goes directly into Space Babies, basically. So it is part of the same story. It's a new Doctor. It's a new season. For me, I don't know. I think this is a real victim of expectations getting the better of me. You've got the literal messiah of modern Doctor Who, Russell T Davies, coming back after helming some of the best shows in recent television. It's a sin in years and years. Ncuti Gatwa off the back of Sex Education, phenomenal actor. And Disney, new money, and there's a lot of excitement. We got a brand new advertising campaign and this big push for Doctor Who to be something again. And when it came out, I enjoyed it. But I couldn't help but sit there and feel there's some things missing. And I still don't know what it is. But I'll level with you. Since watching Empire of Death, I haven't gone back and rewatched any episodes from that season. And I have a feeling that maybe when even Flux came out, I would have done that. Now, I did put this above Flux, but I put it 1 above Flux because I feel like it's, for me, on the same level. Where it's like, they're both severely flawed seasons for very, very different reasons. I think, like, some of the stuff in the Disney series, it looks incredible, the production value is great, and it's exactly what Doctor Who should be nowadays. But I just feel like, weirdly enough, it's the writing that's not quite there in places. And I kind of feel like the story was, like, just begging to be 10 episodes as opposed to 8. I can't help but hate this rushed format. I know it's modern TV, but Doctor Who is going about in time and space. It doesn't follow a coherent story. If it was like Flux and it was a 6-part episode that led into the finale, it'd be perfect. Or if it was an 8-part episode, it'd be absolutely spot on perfect amount of episodes. But I think because of the nature of the show, for the nature of the fact that out of the 9 episodes, let's say, Ncuti Gatwa wasn't even there for 2 of them, it's like, I kind of feel that they've went too hard into this idea of having a shorter season. And we know they filmed season 1 and 2 back to back, and that's great. That means they shot basically 18 episodes back to back, and that's amazing. Don't get me wrong. But I think because of that, we suffer, because now we're like, well done, you've scheduled ahead. However, now we have to just wait to finish the rest of the story. Russell's already come forward and said there's a lot of stuff to be answered in season 2. And I'm sure it will. I'm sure there'll be payoff, unlike some of the Timeless Child stuff. I'm sure there actually will be proper payoff. I just, like, I don't know. Like, there's, like, how many scenes do they actually have in the TARDIS together, Ruby and the Doctor? I don't feel like Ruby is up there for me as a companion like Rose or Martha or Donna or Amy Pond, right? Yeah. And it's like, after her first entire season, with the main finale story arc based around her, I should feel something there. And I don't yet get that. And she's in the next season, not as the main companion, but she's in it. And it's like, I feel like I'm still waiting for more. So I do love season 1, the Disney season. I just, and then you can see our full review of that in its own episode of Nostalgia Bit, by the way, when we talk about it. I think it's marvellous. I think it's got a lot going for it. And it's great to have Murray Gold back. I love Sego Nakanola's music, and I would never criticise that from the Whittaker era, but I think there is a charm to having some of the more orchestral, bombastic sort of suites of music that come in. Bringing back Sutek, I don't think it was particularly amazingly utilised, but I love the fact that they brought him back, and I actually love what they did with him. There's just some stuff there I'm like, I just wish we had more. That's all it was. I feel like I wish we had more, and I wish we had more time to care. I don't feel too connected to Ncuti's Doctor yet. He still feels new. I still don't feel like I know who Ncuti's Doctor is quite yet. I feel like I don't really quite know who Ruby is yet. I feel like this really would have been benefited. Like, you go back and you'll rewatch these series now, Cooper, back from 2007, 2008, and you'll see it's like a 13-episode series with a Christmas special. For Doctor Who, works perfectly. And I know we can't do that anymore with the size of productions. But man, it has so much more time for character work.
That's my biggest thing from this season.
So much more. Yeah.
And I said to you when it was coming out, is I don't fully feel like I have a connection to the 15th Doctor yet. Like, it still feels very... And we will go back and watch the episode where we reviewed the entire season and Empire of Death and stuff. And
I liked it, don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong, yeah, I enjoy it. Like,
there's the reason it's 11th place.
It's like, there's stuff that for me, there's stuff that I just prefer. There's a series that I just prefer, basically. But there's some episodes in this where there's, and it's the same thing with pacing and not having enough episodes. There's some episodes that I think had come later on would have hit a lot harder. I think Dot and Bubble come later on would have hit so much harder. Yeah. But you can't, like, doing wrong. There's episodes in this season that I absolutely love. Like, absolutely adore. And
I love it. It's experimental. I actually quite like that.
And it's experimental.
Like stories. Like, Jodie never had a Dr. Light story, really, that the companions got to do their own thing and what have you. So I love that we got 73 yards, and I like that Dot and Bubble is completely separate, very Blink-esque in that sense, where we're following a completely new character. But again, those would work really well if it was padding out a bigger series.
Yeah. Not episode 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have Dot and Bubble, which is like a very Doctor Light episode, and then you've literally got 3 episodes and then the story's done. It's like you literally have 1 episode, and then it's supposed to be this massive season finale where the Doctor almost dies, essentially. Like,
the universe does, and it's marvelous. I saw it on the big screen at BFI. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I loved it, but I can completely understand some of the valid criticisms. I think some of people's criticisms are a bit silly and a bit over the top. I mean, it is Doctor Who at the end of the fucking day, you know. And there's the same sort of thing as there's been some plot details leaked. They're bullshit, but leaked. But they're very clearly just good guesses mixed in with absolute clearly bullshit. And people are like, oh, I've lost my faith. Oh, I'm not going to like this. And I'm actually reading the leaks, and I'm like, this doesn't even tell you anything about the series, really. It doesn't actually tell you anything detailed. So how could you hate it off that? I don't get it. But that's just me.
Shall we move on before this gets too long?
Go on. 10th place.
10th place. My 10th place is Series 8.
Interesting. Okay, well, I've mentioned that, so that's good. And then my 10th place is Series 9.
Which I've also mentioned. Well, I mentioned because I've not fucking seen it.
So we can talk about Series 8 first. So my Series 8 was 4th from bottom.
Yeah.
So I had this relatively low in my estimations. And I think for me, that's just because I was thinking about it and I was like, I like Series 8, but I can't tell you any real individual episodes where I'm like, I love this. I think at the time I loved it more. But this feels... I tell you what, Season 1 Disney feels like Series 8 of Doctor Who with Peter Capaldi. I think it's very similar vibes.
Yeah,
I think it's
fair.
Slightly shorter.
Yeah.
It's slightly... I think it hasn't quite got exactly what I loved yet, but I think it's sort of building. I don't love Peter Capaldi's Doctor really until like Season 9, I would say, is probably where it kicks in for me.
Wouldn't know.
I don't really get... Like, Series 8, his character's weird. Like, they almost make him like a sort of PG Malcolm Tucker. Like, he's just really aggressive and angry with everyone, which is great, don't get me wrong. It's really refreshing, and watching it back, I'm like, this is funny. This is actually really funny, and Capaldi does it to perfection. But I sort of think, like, of who I think of when I think of the 12th Doctor, I think of, like, World Enough and Time Doctor Falls. Like, I think of this sort of space-age grandpa, but also this sort
massive
of
curly hair.
wise,
that's how I picture
curly, your big curly hair. And it's just a very visually and stylistically different character in Series 8. And I like that. But also what I don't like is the whole Danny Pink Clara stuff, again, because it doesn't really go anywhere, in my opinion. But I also do like that... I do like the fact that they just kill him off. And I love the Missy stuff. I love all that.
Yeah,
but I just think there's like... I actually think about the quality of the episodes, like the finale and stuff, is putting Missy aside, putting the excitement of seeing the Master back again. When I was 13 and I first saw this, I was like, this is insane. When Missy was there, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Now I look back, and the highly rated episodes of that season were Flatline and Mummy on the Orient Express, which are good episodes, but I don't ever really think of them, and I don't think many people do, I'd argue, to be like greatest of all time episodes. And I can think of a lot more episodes in Series 9 and Series 10 that I rate a lot higher.
Yeah.
That stand out to me more, and I think that's it. There's just not as many standouts for Series 8. But go on, I'll let you cook.
It's just so weird for me, because it's like, I've never, genuinely, probably not thought about this series since it first came out, bar Dark Water and Death in Heaven. But I look at the list, I look at like the episodes, and for some reason, I actually remember quite a few of them. Like Deep Breath, I remember. Robot and Sherwood, for some reason, I remember.
Your sort of judgment in Doctor Who is sort of like a dementia level of like how much you can remember in your mind is.
Yeah, because I don't actively go. I say this. Wait until we get to like top 5. Top 3 definitely. I've rewatched fucking God knows how many times.
We'll get to like the top, the number 1 series, and you'll be like, this is my favorite because I remember it.
Because I watched it most recently. No, but these are like, because I don't actively go back and watch. Like, I'll go back and watch my favorites. That's the kind of person that I am. Like, I want to do like a full watch through, and that's kind of what I'm slowly progressing through, getting through series 2.
I love that you're doing that. I didn't know you were doing this, and I'm just so happy
I'm not doing it like religiously. I'm just like,
no, but every now and then,
I'll get like an itch every once in a while, and I'll be like, do you know what? I fancy watching some. Like, and I'll watch like 4 episodes in like one sitting.
It's getting to me again where I'm like, I really want to watch it from 2005 onwards again, because I'm like, I'm getting that itch again. I'm like, I haven't done it in a few years. I wouldn't mind.
Because it's like, I remember, for some reason, I remember Robot and Sherwood. And then I remember Kill the Moon for some fucking reason. I remember Mummy on the Orient Express for some fucking reason. Flatline, don't remember at all. The Forest of the Night for some fucking reason.
Flatline was what? Oh, no, In the Forest of the Night is actually bad, though.
In the Forest of the Night,
Kill the Moon is whack as well.
Yeah, it's probably the fucking bonkers ones I remember. And then Dark Water and Death in Heaven, obviously. Because I remember...
beautiful.
I remember being a David Tennant kid, and I loving John Sim having the fucking laser screwdriver.
Yeah.
I remember Missy being introduced and being like, oh, cool character, really cool. And I remember the fucking scene where she's like, oh yeah, you know me, Missy. I had a different name, mate.
Those moments are so good, though.
I miss being a kid and not seeing like leaks and shit like that. Like, I remember that. Because you know what they say? It's the same thing as Spyfall. Spyfall was the exact same thing.
It was, because that didn't leak.
It's when I don't see it coming at all that it really gets me, and that is one of the ones. And I think it's probably again carries the season. I remember it so well. Like, I remember that reveal so well, and just being like, oh my god, like, just blown away.
It's good. It's a good one. There's so many phenomenal reveals in Doctor Who and moments like that. A lot of them to do with the Master, really.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find that when you rewatch season 3, because you know the Master's at the end of the series. That's no spoiler.
Yeah.
When it gets revealed that he's the Master.
Yeah.
Oh man, like you have no the music, the acting, like it's so fucking good.
And it's that kind of thing for me. It's like I just remember being blown away as a kid.
I was when I watched that. I watched it on my phone. I think I watched the Dark Water on my phone. It was like a caravan. It was like a weekend. My parents were packing up, and I was desperate to watch it on the last like remaining bits of Wi-Fi we had. And I was watching it. And I remember I was theorizing the whole series. It was like Missy, Mistress, Master. It's got to be. And I was like, nah, it's not gonna happen. And then it happened, and it was like, fuck.
I'm stupid enough to never put that together. You see, so it was like that kind of. And I remember watching it like on my TV at home, and I just remember that when
I love it.
I love it. It's like
short for
on
Mistress.
Yeah.
Couldn't keep calling myself the Master. Yeah, I love it. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And what did I mention? Series 9. I can talk about.
King.
So you don't remember season 9. Series 9.
I don't think I've seen series 9.
I think you've definitely seen Heaven Sent.
I've definitely seen Heaven Sent and Hellbent. 100%.
Okay. Yeah.
And Husband's River Song. I've definitely seen.
Yeah, but that's not actually right. Okay. Series 9 has some of the... It's a really interesting one, because when I first watched Series 9, it was the first series of Doctor Who that I watched live, and I was getting old enough where I was starting to become more critical. And I got to a point, this is the first series I watched, where I was like, I don't like Doctor Who anymore. It's a bit babyish for me. And it's like, it's not that. It's just the fact that I'd encountered a handful of actually bad episodes, and I was like, shit. This is what like disappointment in TV feels like, because you don't feel that when you're a kid. You consume any old shit. You go back and rewatch it, and you're like, oh, this is bad.
I'm still like that.
I'm jealous of you. When I first, because but the thing that I liked about Series 9 is they actually do a lot of it, pretty much 90% of it. They're doing 2 parts exclusively.
Yeah.
Which makes the stories longer, and I actually think is a really good idea that I'm disappointed they never actually went back to, because it actually worked really well. You could do these, you could have it because you knew you were going to get a good cliffhanger. The opening 2-parter set on Skaro with Davros. I mean, that's wonderful. I mean, great to see Davros, but it was a character piece of Davros with Capaldi, who's phenomenal and chews the scenery, of course. But you've also got Missy and Clara. Like Missy, like the Master meeting the Daleks doesn't happen very often, if at all, I think, in the history of Doctor Who. So that was interesting. They met the Daleks, but not Davros. That was like a first time meeting. The second 2-parter, though, severely underrated, never gets talked about. Under the Lake and Before the Flood, absolutely fucking brilliant 2-parter. Genuinely Capaldi at his best. The writing at its best, the music, everything, the cinematography, the idea is genius. It's one of those episodes that really got stuck in my head as a kid. When I was watching for the first time, I'm trying to remember how old I would have been, probably 14. I thought this was absolutely the dog's bollocks. I was like, this is such good TV, and I still watch it now, and I'm like, this is genuinely brilliant Doctor Who. It's a proper classic Doctor Who kind of story. And then you got the Shielder stuff, and that's where it falls apart for me. Is I never really liked Millie Williams. It's not Millie Williams. Maisie Williams, that's it.
From
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So she's like one of the main characters in this series, and she plays a
her
role
in
throughout.
One of the thumbnails.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it sort of goes through, and she's like an immortal or something. I don't really love her performance in this. I don't really love her character. I don't think they do very much with her. And then they suddenly bring in the Time Lords, and the whole arc is about the hybrid, and it's just like this whole like mythology thing. But I don't really like that. The Zygon 2-parter is actually, in my opinion, not very good. But I love the ending with Capaldi doing genuinely like a complete 5-minute monologue.
Is that the I've seen this monologue?
Where he's
incredible.
Where he's shouting about the war and stuff, and it's like, it's genuinely some of the best performing in Doctor Who, and Capaldi absolutely steals the show, as he should. He's incredible. I love it. And I kill for more moments like that in Doctor Who. And then the finale, I think Hellbent suffers from this thing. It's like everyone hated it at the time, and then you go back and watch it, and you're like, well, it's not relevant anymore. The events of Hellbent and the story around what's going on with Hellbent and the lore and all that, it isn't relevant now. It doesn't affect modern Doctor Who. It's not affecting what's going to go forward. So it's just like, well, no, but it's the same with anything, right? It's like people, you can get annoyed at any episode of Doctor Who, but if it's from like 10 years ago, Is it really affecting the show now? No, not really.
Yeah.
It came and it went, and it's fine. And that's what happens with every era of Doctor Who. Everything exists in its own bubble, has a little creative showcase
Very
that
good point.
the writer can kind of show off and be like, this is something I really like, this is my vision for the show, it's brilliant, and we move on. Do you really think that we're going to be referencing The Timeless Child in 10 years' time? We might be. We might drop a couple hints to it here and there, and it's part of the canon, you can't change that, but we're not going to get delved into these stories.
Yeah.
The people's concern and outrage is at the time when you know that they could develop this further, they could do more with it, they're going to be exploring this. And it's the same with Hellbent. It's like the lore about the Time Lords and the being locked away and stuff, and all this stuff, and then the whole thing with Clara coming back. It's like, it doesn't actually matter anymore. It doesn't matter that Clara came back and then died again and had whatever, the long way around. It's like, yeah, okay, Moffat can't kill anyone, but actually when I watch it, I'm like, that isn't as brutal as the Face the Raven death, but I actually really like the emotional connection between these two. The whole point is they've gone mental. Capaldi and Jenna Coleman, they both, their characters in this are both trying to outdo each other almost. Clara's trying to be too much like the Doctor, and to sort of backfire against it, the Doctor has to try and be even more doctory, going as far to completely break the rules of his own people to pull Clara out of a time zone, even though he knows it's probably not going to work, and it doesn't work. And he ends up wiping his own mind. It's like he pays the price for going too far, and I actually like the subtext and the character work there. I do like that, and I appreciate that now. Never mind the fact that Heaven Sent is fucking brilliant. And yeah, Husbands of River Song is fucking sick as well. Great how that ties back. It's a great little epilogue to the River Song story. You've got a lot of good stuff in there. There's a few duds. Genuinely, there is a few duds. The Woman Who Lived is a terrible story, in my opinion. I really just don't get anything out of it. And Sleep No More is... it's whack. But there are some great stories in there. And I think Capaldi is honestly at his best here. If not in Series 10, obviously. But I think this is where he really starts to become the Doctor for me.
Capaldi has the best reaction to the TARDIS out of any person in Doctor Who, so he gets a good salute from me in Husband of River
Song. When he walks in...
It's one of the best. It's one of the best.
How are you so familiar with Husbands of River Song but not the rest of the series?
Because River Song is one of my favourite characters in all of Doctor Who.
Okay.
This will become very apparent as we get through the list.
Okay, I see. Okay, where are we at?
And also I've watched that clip so many times.
It's great, isn't it?
So many times. What about just in Series 8, so on number 9? Yes. My number 9 is Series 12.
Ooh, okay. My number 9 is Series 11. So we've got 2 Jodie series to talk about.
Yeah.
We'll start with 12, because that was my third from the bottom.
Yeah.
Go for it. What do you think?
Can't lie. I remember a lot of these episodes, and I remember enjoying quite a few of these episodes. Some of these episodes were controversial, a little too political. A little bit of the, I don't know about the writing. Spyfall, Part 1 and Part 2.
You're talking about Orphan 55, and that's it. Really? Oh, and maybe Praxeus as well, because that whole thing was about plastic in the ocean. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Spyfall, Part 1 and Part 2. Goated. Like, let's just get that out there now. Goated. The Sasha Dewan reveal might be one of my favourite reveals in the entire show. Unreal character. Incredible. Fugitive of the Jejune. I remember, right, fucking story about this episode, right? So I remember watching this, because I remember the hype about this episode. There was so much hype around this episode coming out. And to be fair, this episode is like a double-edged sword for me. So, such a hyped episode, watched it with my girlfriend, we were like, oh my god, incredible episode, loved it, was like, oh my god. Kobe Bryant passed away on the same day that it came out. And I remember finding out after I watched this episode, and I'm like, I enjoy the episode, but it puts a slightly sour taste in my mouth because it was a massive thing for me. Yeah. Like, his passing was like huge for me because I really idolized him as a kid. But for the whole season, this whole season, as much as I think it had a lot of controversy at the time, a lot of people were like, oh, it just wasn't very good. When you look back at it, it's like, some of these stories were actually really cool ideas. Amazing seeing the Jejune again, fantastic seeing the Jejune again. Spyfall Part 1 and Part 2 I absolutely adore. Nikola Tesla was cool as well. It kind of had that continuous story with the Cyberman as well. That essentially the Cyberman, amazing to see the Cyberman again. Timeless Children, controversial story points at the time. Very, very, very controversial. So I don't hate them now.
No, you know what? I enjoy it. When
it first came out, it was. I remember being like, "Oh, I don't like it," 'cause a lot of the way. But now I'm like, I don't mind it.
It's the same thing, though. It's the same effect. We're not in the Jodie era anymore.
Yeah.
So you know that that's happened and done, and that's what it is. For me, this is interesting because Series 11 was quite low for you, and Series 12 is quite low for me. And we've got Series 11 and 12 at the sort of opposite places, really. Yeah. So it's interesting seeing that. For me, Series 12 is good, yeah. And at the time, I thought it was a step in the right direction. I thought it was a step up. Looking back, I don't. I think Spyfall Part 1 is great. It's a lot of fun. It's a big step up, big bombastic start to the series. The reveal is brilliant. But Spyfall Part 2, it's kind of messy.
It's been a while.
Kind of messy. It's kind of messy. It's good. It's good. It's got some good stuff in there. Really, really great stuff. But the story kind of wraps up very quickly, and we don't really get any sort of reasoning as to what the hell was going on with the Kasavin. If you ignore the master element, like, what else was going on with that story? Oh, Bradley Walsh is walking around with laser shoes somewhere.
True.
Lenny Henry's sending some police on them. They're now the most wanted people in the world, but they're just kind of walking around a little English village. Weird stuff going on there. Orphan 55, again, daft as fuck. Weirdly strong political message, whatever. It's fine. It's just had a bit of a weird ending, but it's fine. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, unironically, very, 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 very good. I love that episode. It's a lot of fun. And actually, when you watch that, I'm like, I don't hate it. It's a proper little Doctor Who story. It could be better in certain elements, but it's a great historical, great premise. It works well. For me, it's the stuff. It's the lore stuff. It hasn't done anything for me over time. I was so excited at the time, and it just didn't do anything. And it's like, Fugitive of the Jadoon is great. I now resent the Captain Jack stuff in the middle of the story.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it at the time, but now I look back and I feel like it's really lazy. He just picks up the companions one at a time, so they're not actually part of the main story, just to tell them to beware of the lone Cyberman. What the fuck does he have to do with any of that story? It's so weird. And it's like, it's cool, but this is where the era as well started to get into the cinematography lens, and oh my fucking god, I am sick to death of lens flares, and I'm so glad we're past that now. Go back and watch any of them.
I remember.
Hey, watch the Captain Jack scene in Fugitive of the Jadoon. You can't see his fucking face for half of it because he's got a big yellow lens flare across his face. It's ridiculous. Haunting of Villa Diodati, again, brilliant episode. Mary Shelley, this sort of zombie Cyberman. It wasn't confirmed that there was going to be a Cyberman in that episode. So when it appears and it's this big, grotesque, Frankenstein-esque zombie Cyberman,
great design.
That was unbelievable. Ashad is such a great character and so underutilized. I love it. But in that moment, he was incredible. And the two-part finale is fine. But again, the story for me is weak. It's like the Cyberman stuff is kind of all over the place. And could have been a bigger focus of the series being in like the cyber wars. That's interesting. A big part of the Doctor Who lore that's never really been delved into, and we got a little bit of it there, but not too much. But the whole invasion of Gallifrey stuff, felt like it was trying to push lore down our fucking face whilst we're trying to do a Cyberman finale, and it's like, we kind of fucked it with too much going on. Because the Gallifrey stuff, although cool, and I love seeing Gallifrey, I've always loved seeing Gallifrey, I couldn't help but feel that a lot of that did end up just feeling, and a lot of people have made this complaint as well, it's like a slideshow. It's just like, stand here, Doctor, and watch all these clips from this Irish village. Revolution of the Daleks, that was cool. That was a good Dalek story in my opinion. Captain Jack did fuck all in that story and didn't need to be there. John Barrowman did not need to come back for this series. Great that he did, but
John Barrowman
didn't
came out of
need
the
to be
series
in
just
it.
because it was like, again, shoehorned. Completely shoehorned.
It was kind of shoehorned in as like a cameo, and that's fine, but still. Series 11, on the other hand, I feel like is a breath of fresh air.
Series 11's a funny one for me.
Because there's no returning monsters, other than, I would say, the finale, which is Resolution. A lot of people say the finale is the Battle of Ranskor Kolos, but thematically, in terms of the themes of Ryan's dad and his relationship with his dad, that ends in Resolution. And the Resolution came out, like, they missed a week and came back for the New Year's special because the series aired so late in the year. I think it's part of the same series, and I think it's designed to be in that run. I do not consider the Battle of Ranskor Kolos to be the finale. I actually think the lack of that sort of stuff, and even the Dalek story that is given to us, it's like very unique, very different, very Venom-esque, very like symbiotic kind of relationship with the girl. I think there's a lot of interesting things there. I thought there was just so much new stuff to sort of, I mean, it's not perfect. I don't like the companion TARDIS team. I don't like there's too much going for it. There's too much going on, and I feel like it would have really benefited from having one or two companions as opposed to three. But I love the Rosa Parks episode. I love the Demons of the Punjab episode. I quite enjoy the Ghost Monument and the Woman Who Fell to Earth. I'm biased for because I went to the fucking screening premiere for it, so of course I am. And the rest of the series has some great hits. I think Witchfinders is a phenomenal episode that doesn't get talked about enough. I think It Takes You Away is really interesting from a sort of like more abstract sci-fi lens, like a talking frog and a mirror universe. That's cool. We don't get enough of that shit in Doctor Who. This proper actual science fiction shit. We get time travel, yeah, we get fucking evil people and monsters and aliens. We don't really ever get much of that sort of like parallel universe stuff. We got it in series 2. We got it in here. We got it here and there. It's always so much more interesting when we deal with actual like science fiction concepts.
Series 11's a funny one for me.
Yeah.
Because I remember enjoying it, but it's like Woman Who Fell to Earth. Yeah, it's decent. Ghost of Monument I enjoyed because it was like, I remember it being like, this was like, because I was a bit hesitant about Jodie's era, and Ghost of Monument was where I was like sold. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm fucking sold. Rosa, incredible. Rise of the UK, fucking burn it. Saranga Conundrum, do not remember in the fucking slightest. Demons of Punjab, probably a top 5 for me, genuinely, quite easily. I remember being very emotional episode. Kabam, very underwhelming. I remember. Witchfinders, It Takes You Away, don't remember at all.
They're great. They're both great.
Avocados, don't remember at all.
Battle of Ranscore Avocados. What was that?
Colos. Fuck knows. It's just, yeah, there's a couple episodes, like, but for the most part, it's just like looking at it just feels very underwhelming.
I get that. I think it's worth revisiting. When I did, I was like actually very impressed. I'm very impressed with the visuals, the stories. I think it's so much more down to earth. I feel like Series 11 had a lot more thought that went into it, as opposed to Series 12 and Flux. And I love Series 12 and Flux, don't get me wrong, in different ways. But Series 12 is quite low in my estimations because of a lot of reused elements, a lot of lore stuff that doesn't really hold up. And although the good stuff is good, it's not really super standout other than the Haunting of Villa Diodati. Whereas Series 11, I think, has a lot of like a new fresh style to it that I really enjoyed. It's not for everyone, but for me, it's like a breath of fresh air, and I get quite weirdly nostalgic over it because it's when I started to do YouTube with Doctor Who as well, and
Woman Who Fell to Earth,
it's a big thing. Yeah, it's a big thing for me. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's move on because we're running out of time a little bit, but that's fine.
Number 8.
8th place.
Mine's the 2009 specials that you called it.
Okay, yeah. And mine is Series 6.
Okay. Okay.
2008, 2009, whatever, specials.
You've not mentioned. Have you mentioned them?
I've mentioned they're my second to last. And the reason they are is, and I can kind of sum this up very quickly, and I'm sure you'll agree on this pretty much, so we can kind of race past this. Yeah. Planet of the Dead is whack. End of Time is good, but goofy as fuck. And Waters of Mars is like an all-timer. And I think it just kind of balances out as kind of weak. You can't compare that to some of like the best seasons in Doctor Who. You can't even compare that to some of the weaker series in Doctor Who because it's balanced out. Next Doctor is kind of forgettable. Planet of the Dead is fucking shit, really. Waters of Mars is phenomenal. And The End of Time is goofy as fuck, but kind of appropriate, I guess. And it kind of feels as a complete package. It's kind of a weak batch.
Yeah. 100% agree. Move on.
Cool. Yeah. So then, a question: why is it so high?
Because I still remember it. That's why.
Okay.
Because I still
it's
remember
still a memory in your.
I still remember it very well. I remember End of Time Part 2 so well.
Yeah, fair enough.
I remember being like, Doctor Who's fucking done. This Matt Smith guy, get that shit out of here.
He's not going to be very good. He's going to get the show cancelled.
I remember being like, I will not watch this. He is not my Doctor. And that's because I remember that very well.
Alright, we'll just jump straight to 7th then. Unless you've mentioned Series 6.
No, I've not mentioned Series 6.
Okay. Okay.
Number 7 is Series 2.
Ooh, mine is the 2013 50th anniversary specials.
Okay, yeah.
So Series 2, we can kind of talk about. You're watching that at the minute.
I'm watching.
I think it's great, but I think it's got a lot of weak ones in there.
I am 6 episodes into Series 2. Phenomenal.
Yeah, the best batch, but I think it gets weaker towards the midpoint.
Bro,
I think
Get on the Fireplace. I thought it was a banger episode.
So good, right? It's an all timer. It's an all timer. It's so good.
Such a good episode.
It's so good. And School Reunion, I love it.
Yes, School Reunion, amazing, phenomenal.
So good.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then the Rise of Cyberman, Age of Steel is what
I quite like
I've just
Tooth and
watched.
Claw.
Tooth and Claw was good. Yeah, very good.
I enjoyed that. The Cybermen 2-parter doesn't really do it for me. It's a bit like Rose being a bit wanky about her family again, and I kind of go back and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my dad again. Oh, God.
So see, the rest of them I don't really remember. I remember Runaway Bride, obviously. Everyone fucking does.
Yeah.
Idiot's Land, Impossible Planet, I remember a little bit from.
Impossible
Satan
Planet
Pit, I don't
and Satan
remember.
Pit is a 2-parter that I think you'll come to enjoy. Especially, and go in with this context, is that the voice of the devil or whatever, or the beast in that story is Sutek. And if you want, you can make the connection that it is the same character if you want to have that loosely connected thread and go, oh, it could be the same character because it's the devil and the god of death. It's like a very, interesting. Yeah, cool. I'm happy to round it off there. I think series 2 has some great stuff going for it. The finale as well, Doomsday, is incredible. Army of Ghosts. I have such core memories of that. But then I think about Fear Her. I think about Love and Monsters, which I think is underrated anyway, but it's still whack. And I'm not a big Impossible Planet and Satan Pit lover, even though it's a great 2-parter. I'm not a big fan of that as much as other people are who rave about it. The Cyberman 2-parter kind of weak. So for me, it's the beginning of the series that I love. And the end of the series kind of tapers a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah. Faz.
What's next?
My number 6 is... Oh, this is right. These next two... Well, not this one, the one after that. Fucking nostalgia all the way. I'm going to write them around.
Okay. That's fine.
My number 6 is the 2023 specials.
Oh, so's mine.
Oh. Brief, because we've definitely spoke about them before.
We've already talked about them.
Yeah.
I think Wild Blue Yonder is genuinely one of the best episodes of Doctor Who in a long time, and it absolutely reignited my passionate love with the show being like, oh, it can be this good still. I loved it. For me, I know it sounds daft, and I know people think it's a bit shit, but I actually think it's one of the best episodes in the show for a while, and I think it's an all-timer. I think the giggle is also phenomenal, and I think the Star Beast is a bit weak, but hey, as a complete package... We got a trilogy of specials for the 60th, and I love that we got that.
Incredible marketing, just incredible hype around it anyway.
Yep.
3 banger episodes, like genuinely banger episodes.
Yep.
Like, Mr. Star Beast is weaker, and we've got banger, triple. Like as a 3-part, it feels like a proper 3-part. It feels like a really comical like first regeneration episode, even though it's with someone we already know. Wild Blue Yonder, I think. Lore-wise works so well. I think it's really good lore-wise, and it really sets up...
it's a character piece.
Yeah, it's a proper character piece.
I've explained this before. I'm not going to go into it. There are many clips of me online talking about Wild Blue Yonder and how good it is.
Great timeless child references as well. Like, actually, like, feels well done. It feels like... It feels well, like, lore well done.
Yeah.
And then...
it's respectful.
The giggle is an all-timer, so...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
But, okay.
Number 5.
Number 5, Series 10.
Mine's Series 1. This is why I said nostalgia plays a massive factor into this.
Fair. Okay. Series 10 we've both talked about.
Yes. Series 10 was my 15th choice.
Oof. And it's my 5th.
Yeah.
Series 10... I also think I maybe need to reassess this, though. Because I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like... It has got some bangers in there. But is it just held up for me because of World Enough in Time and Dr. Falls and Twice Upon a Time? Because I love all 3 of those episodes.
Start okay.
I think it starts brilliantly with the pilot, though. I think the pilot's brilliant.
The pilot, good start. For me, this series goes the pilot. World Enough in Time,
off.
Dr. Falls.
No. The pilot's great. Smile. Thin Ice good. Thin Ice is a good Doctor Who episode, I
I've
think.
probably not seen it since it came out.
Oxygen.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, Knock Knock is in there, which is fine. That's a bit creepy and horror-y, but it's whatever. The Doctor sings a bit, a little mix, weird. Oxygen, the one that go in space and Capaldi gets blinded.
Yeah.
There's also some great cinematography in there and some great storytelling that I love. Proper, like, anti-capitalist vibes. Pretty good. Yeah, you'll appreciate it more, I think, yeah. Extremis is the beginning of the thing. It's like a whole video game simulation, the whole episode, which I think is a really cool twist and a really great idea. It's the beginning of the Monk trilogy. So, Extremis, The Pyramid at the End of the World, and Lie of the Land. Not the best episodes of all time with the monks. I'm not a big fan of the whole Monk trilogy, but I like what they're trying to go for. I like they're trying to like create this whole... It's like a sort of like subplot of the season where they've got this like 3-parter in the middle, which could very well be its own story, and I like that. And it brings, of course, Missy back into it at that point, where we then continue forward into the series. She's trapped in a vault.
That's what it is, vault. Because he has River Song's diary, doesn't he, in this one as well?
Somewhere, yeah.
I remember one of the episodes, Noddle gives him it or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. You are right. Yeah, that's true. It's an Extremis. We have a Ice Warrior episode on Mars, which is very vintage and cool. It's nothing really to write home about, but it's solid. Eaters of Light, Eaters of Shite, and World Enough and Time and Doctor Falls is peak stuff. Peak. It's unbelievably good.
It's very good.
No one's debating that. So. Yeah, that I think elevates it so much, but the rest of the season
time's good
is
as well,
okay.
mate. I forgot that this includes.
It is good. I don't like the characterization of the first Doctor, but
No.
I do like what they do with the episode. So yeah, I do like it. It gives you a lot of emotion. I like that it's kind of a low key one. It's not a big, phenomenal, amazing, massive story. It is solid. What's your fourth place, Cooper?
Well, series 1. Oh, you've not mentioned. You don't mention.
I've not mentioned series 1.
Yes. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
No, I have not.
That's good. My number 4 is series 7.
My number 4 is series 3.
Let's
do it quickly. So, yeah, season 3. Series 3.
I don't remember.
We've already talked about it, though. I think we've talked about it with the Master Reveal and Utopia, and
Yeah.
we've kind of waffled about that. I think Martha's a great companion. I think bringing back Captain Jack is a great idea. Like, I think they really mix and match a lot of different stuff in this era, in this series, that I think really works quite well for the show. So, yeah, spot on. Got great Dalek stuff. You've got the Weeping Angel, like, Blink is incredible. 3-parter at the end with the Master. It's just, like, a lot of great stuff, and it's my peak childhood. It's the first series I watched live as a kid. I'd caught up with series 1 and 2 on box set, and Runaway Bride and series 3 was the first I watched as it went out, and that's a very core memory for me, and very important to me, so that's why that's so high for me.
There you go.
Series 7.
You mentioned series 7.
Yeah, it was my 5th last.
Damn.
I think it's probably the weakest Matt Smith season,
I agree.
but by like a significant degree. I think there's a huge drop off in quality. We step up in visual quality, but I think the way they split the series into like
It is a weird distribution.
the Amy and Rory ones, and then because they did that them in 2012, and then a year later they did the rest of series 7. So they split it into 2, which is weird.
I watched this on
the Amy
box
and
set.
Rory ones are okay, but I don't. Again, none of those episodes are really screaming to me. Like Asylum of the Daleks, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, Town Called Mercy, Power of 3 are kind of forgettable as a batch, which is a shame. But Angels Take Manhattan is fucking amazing, and I will always shout about how good that is. It's a brilliantly emotional episode, and it works so well. I would also say I would also say the second half of series 7 is kind of weak as well, and it's fine. It's not the end of the world, but it could be a lot better. It could be a lot better, and I think there's a lot of elements there that kind of just disappear at the seams. This is where they start really using a lot of like Strax and Vastra and Jenny, and I don't like those characters. And they're in the Snowmen, they're in the Crimson Horror, and they end up being in Deep Breath as well. Oh, and the finale as well, the Name of the Doctor. That being said, Name of the Doctor does have probably one of, if not my favourite scene in the show.
Which scene? This series also has my favourite scene in the show.
This series or this
series
episode? Interesting. It's the bit in Name of the Doctor when Clara's gone, and River is sort of an echo in Clara's imagination as she goes to smack the Doctor, and he grabs her hand, and there's this gorgeous speech because their entire timeline is out of sync, and at this point River has already gone to the library, she's already died, she's already met Tennant, she already knows how she dies, she's content. They're both at the end of their timeline, and obviously before the epilogue, this is the real final goodbye between Matt Smith's Doctor and River Song, and it is beautiful. This whole thing and this whole like way of saying goodbye. It's so romantic and beautiful and so well written. The music is gorgeous. They use the track "The Wedding and River Song," and every time I listen to that track, I well up. It's a fucking great bit of music, great bit of performance from both of them, and just a great ending to that story, which is actually I think the highlight of the season.
Yeah, it's fucking Name of the Doctor's incredible. But my favorite scene from the series is you must know this, the fucking Rings of Akaten speech, bro.
Oh, Rings of Akaten is good,
bro. That speech,
it's not as good as
that monologue. Bro, shut the fuck up. That monologue has an unhealthy hold on my life. I'm being dead serious. I honestly, this fucking speech is my Roman Empire. I think about this speech like it's unhealthy. Like, I aspire to have a fucking monologue as good as that speech, bro.
Can you reel it off?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I was really hoping you were going to give us a dramatic.
I just remember the line I remember, and it's always struck me as it's like I've been in universes where the laws of physics were defied by a very mad man, and I don't know what it is, but that line is just always stuck with me. It's always stuck with me. I just always thought it was such an amazing line.
It's the way he performs it.
Yeah. When he starts like bursting into tears.
Yeah.
God, I love it.
It's good. It's good. It is good. I'll give you that.
This season, I love them. I think if anyone has been keeping tracks, Matt Smith's era is my top 4.
Yeah, I get that. That's your Doctor Who. That's your Doctor, really.
That's my Doctor Who. Like, that is. I go back and watch these episodes all the time. Like, the Rings of Akaten is one of, like, Jenny it's not the greatest episode of Doctor Who of all time. It's one of my favorites easily. It's just,
oh really? See, I don't love the episode, but I love that moment.
I quite like it. I love like that. I don't know. It's like the children distress and that kind of like that emotion that plays on it. I love that. I love Name the Doctor. I fucking love that episode. I bought this box set on a scout camp. No word of a lie. I bought this on a fucking scout camp because I hadn't seen it. I don't know why. I just hadn't watched this. I hadn't watched this.
Was I there for that?
You were there for this.
I feel like I remember that.
This was you were probably the reason I bought this box out on scout
camp. Did it have the Doctor on the Shard at the front?
Yes.
I do remember that. You know, as I was talking about this season just then, I had that image of that box set in like a Sainsbury's.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
That's sick. That's so weird.
I bought this box set because I remember you telling me about Journey.
Over 10 years ago. Jesus Christ.
I remember you telling me Journey at the Centre of the TARDIS because I remember it being like such a weird concept for an episode.
Yeah.
And I just remember this season really, really well, and I loved it. Like, and it was so sad when Matt Smith left. It was fucking heartbroken. But yeah, it's just I just love. I can't tell you why I love this season. I just do. Like, Angels of Manhattan. Fucking don't even, like
Are you following this? I don't know if you've seen this person on Twitter.
It's just the person who was watching it.
Yeah,
as they go
they watched House of the Dragon, or whatever it's called, and they like adore Matt Smith in that, but never saw Doctor Who, and they did a thread watching it for the first time, and Doctor Who Twitter is obsessed with this thread, as they should be. But honestly, that feeling of nostalgia that comes through when you read a thread like that, you see someone watching this for the first time and feeling those emotions and those reactions, those sort of visceral, emotional moments for the very first time.
I still get emotional these episodes.
We remember these episodes growing up.
Some episodes from the ones I'm going to mention I still get emotional for. Though, it's crazy that someone watches House of the Dragon and is going back to watch Doctor Who for Matt Smith, whereas I've watched Doctor Who and I'm watching Game of Thrones to watch House of Dragons for Matt Smith.
Yeah.
It's such a weird.
It's great. It's a weird thing the way it works, but it's great because you get more exposure to this, and it's like this person will probably end up being a massive Doctor Who fan now.
Yeah, I know.
And they'll venture through. They started Capaldi's era today as of recording,
really?
And it's like just interesting. You see these things and there's emotions and there's reactions. So relatable.
Imagine watching Day the Doctor for the first time again.
That's what I'm saying. But when you watch, it's like this is the whole thing of like and that's the whole sentiment of Doctor Who, isn't it? When the Doctor takes a companion away, it's the whole thing of like he doesn't see it anymore because the whole of time and space is back garden. All he's got is a back garden. He wants to take a companion because when they see it, he sees it. And I think it's the same with long-time Doctor Who fans who have seen these episodes endlessly, know exactly what happens. But when someone new sees it for the first time, the magic and joy that they have when they see it. Like this person on Twitter, it's visceral, and everyone is like, oh my god, reading this thread and these reactions remind me of being a kid, remind me of watching it for the first time, and I love that.
You say this just like, I love Doctor Who. Like, one of the reasons, literally just coming to me right now, like, I think I love about Doctor Who is like, watch as a kid, yes, love it, cool adventures, amazing characters. But when you watch when you're older, like when you actually understand the weight behind it. Like when you actually understand the emotions, when you actually understand the stories and the timelines, like it holds even more weight. Like, and I think that's why you can rewatch them. Yeah, I've not watched some of these for ages, but it's like,
but you will.
Whenever you rewatch it,
when you get through like
so
series 3 and 4,
weight.
when you realise the run of series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 onwards, like when you really follow that through, you're going to be like, this is genuinely like, you'll see, you know, you might not have watched it in years, you might not have watched some of it at all, but you'll see why it's so loved and why it got people, especially around that time. We should keep moving.
Yeah, keep moving.
Third place, what have you got?
So I've actually just changed this right now, like just before. My number 3 is series 6.
Okay, mine is series 5.
Okay.
So series 6 has already been mentioned. I think series 6 is underrated. I think a lot of people shit on it.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
a lot of people talk shit about this series, and there's a lot of it's like quite wanky, but actually it's got some great episodes in it, and it's really adventurous for the time as well. I think they did a lot of really exciting stuff. The River Song arc is excellent. Just really great writing. It's very Moffat-y and it's very, but that was kind of the first time we'd seen that. And look, it's not as good as Series 5 in my opinion. I think Series 5 is absolutely Matt Smith's peak season, of series. Sorry, but I think Series 6 is pretty good as well to a lesser extent. But I think it's pretty good. Yeah, the River Song stuff is brilliant. But then episodes like the God Complex, I think, is just gorgeous. And again, I kind of re-experienced it.
God Complex. It's is it in like the hotel?
The hotel.
Yes.
The Minotaur.
Yes.
The whole sentiment of that.
I remember watching that for the first time.
The whole sentiment of that is the Doctor gets it wrong. So the whole story is about him, you know, keeping people's hope alive, which is what he always does in these situations, right? Because he thinks it's their belief or like their faith, something like that, or it's their, it's their like self-doubt or something daft like that gets them. But what actually gets them in the end is their faith, and Amy's faith in the Doctor is what almost kills her in that episode. And there's a wonderful realization from the Doctor there, where he then at the end of the story leaves Amy and Rory, gives them a house and a car, and says his goodbyes, because he's like, look, it came too close, I can't risk that. And he says in the episode this great line, which is like, what is the equivalent, you know, me standing over your grave, over Rory's grave, or over your broken bodies? And they join him, they travel with him again, and what happens? He is stood over their grave in the Angels Take Manhattan, and it is completely spot on. It is the tragedy of being this timeless character, and I think this episode sums it up perfectly. And I think the whole idea of what Series 6 is about does that. I love that they dropped the companions off a couple episodes before the finale. That's so exciting and different and weird and out of nowhere. It's brave. A lot of it's a very family-focused series.
Like fan favourite companions as well.
Yeah.
Like all-timer companions.
Like suddenly in the middle of an episode that isn't even written by Moffat. To just drop them off. It's so good. It's so out of nowhere, and it works so bloody well for me.
The River Song stuff for me, it's like I just love. It's like the Wedding of River Song. I adore. Yeah. Like it's River Song's whole arc. It's so good, but so sad. Like it's so sad. Like, but it's such a great concept. It's great bit.
It's a great bit of storytelling. It's one of those long-winded, like, pieces of character work I've ever seen. And seeing River Song in Series 4. Just it pays off. It's like this whole Star Wars thing when you look at the continuity of Star Wars. The continuity is so perfect with River Song now. Yeah, that it works. You watch that first appearance with the 10th Doctor, and when that episode came out, she was she wasn't a character. She didn't exist. It was a new character. And the whole luxury of it was someone from the Doctor's future, but that could have just been a one-off. She might never have come back. I think when I watched it for the first time as a kid, I never thought she'd come back. No, but there's a thrill to that, and that's when you go back and watch that and you're like, oh my god, that is Alex Kingston playing River Song, and she has just seen Peter Capaldi's Doctor at the Towers of Darillium and has come to the library to see David Tennant, and it's like that order in your head fucks you up, and I love that continuity.
I've mentioned this before, I'm pretty sure. I remember I went in a rabbit hole and I watched a video that was the entire storyline of River Song. It's like 30-something minutes long, and then I watched every River Song scene in chronological order. It's one of the greatest. So good. Like, it's that kind of thing where I'm just like, it's so well done. And River Song is, again, love River Song. I would never want her story to be touched. It is so perfect, her entire storyline. She never needs to come back. Leave it. It'd be amazing to see it interact with some of the Doctors, but it's just so, it's one of the most it's one of the best written storylines and story arcs over however many seasons it is. Like, it's just perfect.
I think you need to leave it. Unfortunately, I think it's one of those things is you sort of need to leave it now because the best way to do it was to sort of blend it in with other things.
Yeah.
Her doctor was Matt Smith, and it was perfect to introduce her in one episode of Tennant's era and then have one episode after Smith's era.
Yeah.
Her doctor is Smith, and that's her her character is in love with, really.
Yeah, 100%.
At heart. And I think that's where... But it works because it's about the character of the Doctor, and it's that's that whole change in aspect, and that's why Capaldi also works as well, really well with that episode.
He's so good in that episode.
Yeah, I've got a lot of love for River Song, and this series is all about that. But I don't think it's Smith's best season, and I think it has some stuff, has some weaker episodes in it. Curse of the Black Spot, I don't really feel much for, and the Almost People and Rebel Flesh are okay, but a bit meh.
I love Impossible Astronaut, and then Day of the Moon's okay. Curse of the Black Spot, Doctor's Wife.
Doctor's... Fuck off, really?
What? Yeah,
Doctor's Wife is unbelievably good.
Doctor's Wife, I don't know, it just never really hits me when I watch it.
Oh, man.
And then Rebel Flesh, Almost People, good.
Yeah.
Good Man Goes to War. We don't have to fucking...
Good.
Yep. And then Let's Kill Hitler, such a good episode.
Ah, shite.
I love it.
Dog shit.
Love it. And then
I think
the second half of the season is second half of the season is where it you know what I mean?
Takes off.
Yeah.
Fair. But I kind of like the twist of Amy being a sort of pile of flesh goo for most of the first half of the season, and then that's the twist. And
it's good.
I like all that. I think all that's really interesting. But yeah, cool. Let's shift over to second place.
Do you know
what is your second place? I'm trying. Hang on. I'm trying to think of what you haven't mentioned. You haven't mentioned
Series 1. You haven't mentioned.
I haven't mentioned Series 1.
Mentioned Series 1.
You haven't mentioned Series 5.
Yeah, and there's one other thing I haven't mentioned.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
What?
I didn't even think Day of the Doctor. You've not jumped on that one yet. Go on.
My number 2 is the 2013 specials, aka the Day of the Motherfucking Doctor.
My number 2 is Series 4.
Really? Fair, based.
You know what the funny thing is? That's a really common normie opinion.
What? That Series 4 is based?
No, it's like one of the best ones.
I think it just not even remember most of it. It just is. I remember. To be fair, I remember quite a bit of it when I was a kid. I remember fucking Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead. I remember being shit scared.
Well, you'll love it for the River Song stuff as well.
Yeah.
Now, 2013 specials, Day of the Doctor. The reason I couldn't rate that any higher, because it is just 2 episodes, and I think as much as I love Time of the Doctor, it should have been a 2-parter, and I wish Moffat had just sort of...
True.
I don't know. I wish Moffat had just held off in certain areas. I don't really like some of the elements of that. I'm not trying to be like, oh, it's cancelled, it's problematic. But Matt Smith's Doctor at the end of Series 7 and into these episodes is so not how I want to imagine Matt Smith's Doctor. I prefer him in Series 5 and 6, the Raggedy Man. There's a lot of weird stuff. Do you remember the line at the end of Nightmare in Silver, the Cyberman episode in Series 7, where Clara leaves the TARDIS and I'll send you this clip. It's really weird now as an adult watching that and going, that's kind of fucking weird, bro. Because Matt Smith's there and he's like, Clara Oswald, an enigma wrapped in a conundrum, squeezed into a skirt that's just a little bit too tight. And then he sort of snaps himself out of it. And you're thinking,
it's funnier when you do the impression.
Fuck?
It's much funnier when you do the impression.
It's just creepy,
That's a great soundbite.
Wrapped into a skirt that's just a little bit too tight. I made it sound a bit weirder, but and then in Time of the Doctor, people have raised this before. I'm not gonna be like, oh, cancelled. Time of the Doctor has some great stuff in it. It's a great episode. I don't really feel comfortable when he just smacks Clara's arse in one scene.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
but
is that when he's old?
No.
Ah,
it's when he's young.
Shit.
And technically in that scene, completely naked.
Anyway,
hologram
Day of the Doctor. Okay.
But Day of the Doctor is brilliant. I'll give you that. Right. But it's a 50th anniversary special. It has to be.
Bro, I don't care.
Of course it is.
Of course it is, bro. Oh. Day of the Doctor is so wanky, and I love it. I absolutely love it. You just
cannot beat Day of the Doctor.
You just can't knock it. It's 5th anniversary special. It was gonna be good. You know what? They fucking delivered. Let's be real.
They did.
I still prefer it over the 60th ones.
I'm torn between the two, honestly. I think just the consistency of the trilogy of specials is great, and the 2013 special, I think Day of the Doctor's brilliant, but you sense it's... The thing that I hate the most about it, more than anything, is it feels out of place. It's like, think about where the Series 7 ends and where Day of the Doctor begins. It's just like, huh?
I remember the John Hurt.
They just start and he's just tracking. Oh yeah, but like they're trapped in the Doctor. But that's incredible. And then they're trapped in the Doctor's time stream. What a way to end! How are they ever going to get out of the Doctor's time stream? Oh, Clara's in a school now. She's a teacher, and Matt Smith's just chilling.
It is weird. It
is an odd jump. If
it's
you watch one
jarring.
into the next,
when you
weird.
go from Name of the Doctor to Day of the Doctor, it is jarring.
But also, I can't talk about the 50th without referencing the fact that they actually made a mini short film with Paul McGann's Doctor regenerating, which is also part of the 50th anniversary special.
And it's a banger.
So good.
It's so good
seeing Paul McGann back. It's great.
It was such a good regen as well.
Yeah. I know, I love it, and I love the 50th anniversary is great. We know it is. I think when it's for me as a kid, I didn't really have that association with classic heroes. So this was my first proper multi-Doctor story, and it was something that I just never thought I needed in my life. It's before Marvel cameos and all these sort of obsessions in that industry now. It's
Obsessions
before
of
that.
Nostalgia Bait.
Nostalgia Bait.
Available on all platforms.
Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Amazon.
Subscribe.
Every Thursday at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Anyway. Whoa, that was weird.
God damn, whoa, shit. Fuck. Just blacked out there. What was I even saying? It was before that. It's like the multi-Doctor thing. It's like seeing David Tennant, my childhood Doctor, alongside a new favourite Doctor, Matt Smith of mine. It's like, it was really weird. When you think about it now, it's really funny because you think like, when this came out...
It's bonkers, isn't it?
This was less than 4 years after Tennant regenerated.
Yeah.
That's mad. That's
bonkers,
no time. There's no time at all.
Exactly.
And he's come back and it's... Yeah. But it's like... I find it really funny that it's so soon because in my head at the time I was like, oh my god, David Tennant's coming back. How amazing, how exciting, And it is. It's incredible. When you see them side by side talking to each other, it's like, I can't believe it.
When he comes through the anomaly and they interact for the first time, it's it's so
Matchstick Man.
Yes, it's so well written. It's like that
was a bit more
slight
Jimmy
innuendos.
Matt Smith. I don't know.
It's like the slight
Smith,
innuendos that they make as well, like compensate like that kind of stuff. It's like just such well written interactions.
It's good. It's very Moffat-y, but it's great.
Yeah.
I do love it, and I think like you can't go wrong with that experience of watching those for the first time. I mean, incredible. And I like Time of the Doctor. I like what it stands for. I just wish it was longer. I wish it was a 2-parter. I wish there was 3 specials because I think it would have been good. The whole thing is that like the 11th Doctor is on this planet for hundreds of years. He grows old. I want to see that. We built up Trenzalore so much. I want to see it. I want to see this battle that lasts years and takes thousands of lives. I want to see a little bit of that. Give us a little bit of grandiose. They did put a lot of the budget onto the 50th, which I can understand. The stuff on the Time War looked incredible. No one's denying the 50th is amazing. Like, we all know it is. We don't have to talk about it. It's good. Time of the Doctor, I think, isn't as good as I would like it to be. It has some great elements in it. Brings the whole thing together. It's one thing I'll always love, is that Matt Smith's era, I think, is the most thematically consistent.
Yeah.
You've got the River Song stuff. You've got the silence will fall, the crack, the whole thing about stopping the Doctor from speaking his name at Trenzalore. All of those disruptions, all those attempts to kill the Doctor and end his life and whatever, were all to stop him from getting to Trenzalore in Time of the Doctor, where he can say his name and the Time War would start again. And the Time War starting again, probably not planned in that sort of way, but a perfect way of doing it where it's like, how amazing that you're able to then tie the Time War into it, because they kind of had to do that with the 50th anniversary. So it's kind of sick that everything ties together so nicely. There's definitely holes, but I think it's the most consistent arc of any Doctor Who era that I've seen. I think Capaldi has some good stuff, but there's no real big arc there. Smith, they had it down.
I think Smith has the best arcs. Like, I think it's the most consistent continuity-wise writing, if that makes sense.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
Let's go then. Your number 2, series 4.
Oh yeah, shit. I was ready to just jump on it. You could have skipped that there. Series 4. Okay, I'll do it quickly because you don't really remember it. Tennant and Tate. incredible duo. No doubt that there's no reason they came back. They're incredible. They're brilliant together in this series. There's so many great episodes in this, and I know a lot of people have their problems with the finale with Journey's End with Stolen Earth, but like, this was Avengers Infinity War before Infinity War was a fucking thing. Like, I love the fact that they built up multiple Doctor Who spin-offs and brought it all together in this massive sort of Daleks steal the Earth and try to wipe out the entire multiverse in one. And you've got Captain Jack, Sarah Jane, Martha, Rose, Donna, all these characters. It's fucking incredible to watch back. I know it's not everything that it was, but my God, they don't do things of this scale very often with that many characters. This huge ensemble cast, this perfect amalgamation of stuff. Like, it's great. But ignoring that, Midnight, Turn Left, Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead, that's a 4-episode run of absolute fucking Doctor Who perfection. The second half of this season is what makes it. The first half is okay. Fires of Pompeii, meh. Like, Partners in Crime, fine. Planet of the Apes, fine. Sontaran, 2-parter, Doctor's Daughter. It is what it is. The second half of this season, that's where it's at. Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead, Turn Left, Midnight.
That's what I remember.
Journey's End, bosh. 6-episode run of absolute, I think, Doctor Who perfection in my mind. The whole Regeneration,
I remember those episodes.
Cliffhanger, come on.
I've not watched those episodes for a long time, and I remember them from a kid. I remember watching them as a kid. Like, that's the kind of... I remember Stolen Earth, and I remember Journey's End. I remember Davros. I remember the fucking massive red Dalek. I remember it all from when I was a kid.
It's great. And you'll watch it back and you'll be like, all right, this is actually really, really good. And as a kid, that was some of the most exciting things, because it built up over a few years and they did it perfectly. And I can only hope that Russell is cooking again. But I don't know. So we'll see.
Number one? I can't believe
my number one. I can't believe it. I can believe we've made it in this time frame, but I think we've done well, even still. We both know what we're cooking here.
Yeah.
Because there's only 2 series we haven't actually talked about in length. I don't know why I just picked up a wrench and threw it, but that's just... I'm
shocked Series 1 is your number 1.
Are you?
Yeah. Because I thought when you were surprised, you were surprised that mine was so high.
How do you mean?
Like, I thought when I was like, oh, this is for nostalgia reasons, my number 5 is Series 1, I thought you were shocked that it was so high.
No, well, I hadn't mentioned it, so definitely not.
It hadn't occurred to me at that point.
Don't
get me wrong, banger season. I just want to hear your... Like, I want to hear, like, what you think, like,
When Series 1 came out, in the eye of the public, Doctor Who was flimsy cardboard backgrounds, bog monsters, and sort of low-budget 80s shit special effects, and frankly cringeworthy. There's a fan base for it. I love the show, right? But at the time, that's what it was. And Russell pulled off something fucking miraculous. I think Series 1 is a perfect introduction to the show. I don't think we've got any better than that, in my opinion. I think Chris Eccleston is absolutely an incredible Doctor, and I'm not just saying that because I look like him now. I absolutely... adore that first series. I love him as a character. He is perfect, and the way he bounces off Billy Piper is perfect. It was destined to not work, and somehow it did. You had Chris Eccleston falling out with the production team and leaving after the first series and even finished wrapping. Really, he finished his job and fucked off, but he decided he was going, so he was kind of... There was screwing all hopes of a season 2. Billy Piper was, at that time, a pop star, not an actor. And everyone was like, why the fuck have they cast Billy Piper in the main companion role? That's terrible. It was almost like a cry for help. You know what? It came on TV and it fucking smashed it. I think there's one weak episode.
Which one?
And that's The Long Game. The Simon Pegg episode with the mighty Jagrafess of Rognako or something. I don't know how to say it, but I'd love to learn that. What I can say, though, is Raxacorico Falapatorius. I love the Slovene in this series. I think the Slovene are great. I think the 2-parter Downing Street, I think is brilliant. It's camp, daft sci-fi at its finest. And I think there's some charm about this, not only from a nostalgic point. This is my introduction to Doctor Who. This is what made me fall in love with it. Tennant was always my Doctor, right? Because I didn't watch Series 1 live as it came out. So I didn't watch it week by week. I watched it in one, really, with my dad when I was younger. But it got me into it. And I have such a fascination with that. Eccleston was the first Doctor I saw alongside the Daleks. You'll never forget that. Yeah. That, for me, is such a big nostalgic indicator. For you, maybe not so much. But then I was 4 when this series came out. So, I mean, you would have been way too young to know
Well, I'd been 2 when the series came out.
Yeah.
So
and like by the time I watched it, it's like it was such a, I don't know, it was so impactful. And that era of being a kid and growing up with Doctor Who is this series. I remember watching this on DVD. I remember watching the finale. I watched it with you last year. You know, Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways is still for me one of the best finales in the show's history. It's brilliantly done, and it's such a perfect, you know, way to use the characters. It's I don't know. I'm waffling, but I absolutely love it. Father's Day is fantastic.
So, did you not question why this was higher than all my David Tennant seasons?
Ooh.
I had this
think about that
on DVD when I was younger. And I had the David Tennant seasons on DVD as well. I used to watch this season on repeat. This is the season I always chose to watch on repeat. The Slovene are one of my favourite monsters in Doctor Who. Purely because of being a kid. I used to absolutely love them as a kid. Those episodes I adored as a kid.
Yeah.
Dalek, I remember so well watching it over.
Dalek is my first ever Doctor Who episode.
And over again when I was a kid. I used to watch like the start of the season just religiously. I used to love it so much. And my nanas used to have like those ones. I used to watch this one in particular just over and over and over again. And that's why. And don't get me wrong, it's good. It's not just nostalgia. It's fucking good as well.
Do you know what it is? It's charmingly disconnected from everything as well. It's the beginning of a new era. It's not got all the complexities of this canon and this like all this sort of stuff to catch up with. There's no scenes where you see all the Doctor's faces in this. It's just this is the Doctor. This is what he's like now. There's been a war. He's the last of his people. And here we are. Effectively.
Rose is such a good episode. They're all really good episodes.
Are all brilliant. End of the World has some fantastic like, discussions about, you know, the Doctor in his sort of, after seeing his planet burn, takes Rose to see her planet burn.
Yeah, because we watched...
And she's demanding to know more about him, and he reveals that. He goes, this is what happened to my planet.
Because we watched Bad Rose and Parting of the Ways, didn't we, last year?
Bad Wolf.
Yeah. Is that just what we... Did I watch... No, yeah, did we watch Bad Wolf?
Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways.
We watched those
Bad Rose.
Oh, did I? Sorry, Bad Wolf, Parting of the Ways.
Yeah.
Because when I couldn't remember those episodes, and then when we watched them together, it was like just memories flooding back to you. And I was like, I remember them so well. Like there was stuff when we were watching it that I remember them coming up.
So good, so good. Genuinely, really, really, really good, isn't it? Like that first Father's Day.
Yeah.
Some of the best acting I've seen still. I in Doctor Who, like I absolutely love it.
That's such a good episode.
It's so charming and grounded and like almost like a soap.
Yeah.
But with sci-fi, and I love it. I love it. But it's different. You don't get that. I think there's a charm missing now from how that used to feel. It's too cinematic now. Doctor was never about cinematics. It was about the people. It was about the characters. It was about the experience of
story.
It. What does the universe look like through the eyes of a chap living in a council estate in London? What does it look like? This is what it looks like. That's why it's marvellous, because you're seeing the wonderful and extreme through the eyes of someone who hasn't even worked out their own life yet. Unemployed, cracking on, single mother. Has a single mother, not is a single mother. But it's like so many of these elements. It's like you don't think about, but actually it's so revolutionary for the time.
Rose's mum was such a good character as well.
Oh, Jackie Tyler, come on. Anything could happen.
Banger.
I love season 1. I think series 1. I think it's great, and I think you'll come to appreciate the other series as well as you watch the David Tennant ones. Definitely. But series 1's the beginning of it all for me, and I think Christopher Eccleston being a one series Doctor really elevates it. I think if it was a Doctor that carried on, I don't think the series would last as highly. But it's such its own package because of that. We get a regeneration. We get the reintroduction of the Daleks. We get like a new companion. It's like there's all these key like cornerstone moments for a Doctor Who.
Get a banger companion as well.
Which is watching a regeneration for the first time.
I know. Don't even bother mentioning series 5.
Series 5. Let's talk about it, because that's your number 1.
Series 5 just clears. Like it's so just comfort, and I'd honestly, this is one of the only seasons where I'll watch I would watch every episode with no skips. Like if I was to rewatch it, obviously. It's just, I don't even know where to start. 11th hour, fucking clear. absolutely clear.
Oh, the 11th Hour is
alone.
probably one of the best actual season. Probably is still the best series opener, I think, in modern Doctor Who. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. I can't imagine. I mean, David Tennant was so popular, uber popular, and as myself, who was not even 9, well, probably just turned 9 years old. I didn't think Doctor Who could go on without David Tennant. It wouldn't be the same. It would be too different. It'd be weird.
I mean, 7 maybe. Yeah.
And I saw it, 11th Hour, and immediately I was like, this man is the Doctor.
Yeah.
It is completely different character, but it's him.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it.
I just love this season. Victory of the Daleks, such a good episode. Time of the Angels, Flesh and Stone, River Song again. River Song's so beautiful in this season. It just like Vincent and the Doctor, like come on, like come
you can't beat
on.
shit like that. I mean, that's just unbelievable. And there's so much context for that as well. I think So it's written by Richard Curtis, who is a prolific screenwriter. Wrote a lot of Mr. Bean, Four Weddings and a Funeral, like Notting Hill. Like he's written a lot of.
Vincent the Doctor is the perfect.
Classics.
It's the perfect balance of really good sci-fi, amazing sci-fi, but the weight and emotion that it carries as well. Like it just carries so much for like episode 10. Vincent carried fucking like you have so much passion and love for a character you just meet in one episode, a 47-minute episode I've got up here. It's like James Corden. Say no more. That's his second.
I'd actually rather say no more.
That's 2 episodes he's had in Doctor Who. Pandora
2 more than me. Shocking.
I know. Pandora opens. Like I don't know what to say about the season because
Pandora opens and Big Bang is brilliant. Like the only weak spot of series 5 for me is Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. But even those are really well written and performed and stuff. Like I think the other episodes hold so strongly that for me it's the Weeping Angel 2-parter, man.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. Bringing back River Song, amazing. And doing a Weeping Angel 2-parter with a very different context. There is no scene greater to me in a lot of modern Doctor Who than when the 11th Doctor and guides the clerks through the maze of the dead. I love the setup for it. One Weeping Angel in a maze of statues. Good. And there's so many references to the planet that they're on, and the species, and the culture, and jokes about them having 2 heads. And none of the statues have 2 heads. And there's a moment where he realises, and he basically goes, fuck. And they do that thing where they're like, everyone turn the lights off, just a second. And everyone look at that statue, turn it on and off, and the head of the statue moves. And they realise that they're not playing a needle in a haystack game of one Weeping Angel in a maze of statues. They are in a maze of Weeping Angels. Again, they are completely surrounded. And it is, what a twist. It's so like, good.
I have friends nowadays where you allude to anything to do with Weeping Angels, they will crap themselves. And it's so because of Flesh and Stone, and it's because of the Matt Smith Weeping Angel story arc.
Those are the ones. So
unbelievably well.
It's scary.
Done. It is scary. Like that shit is harrowing as a kid. Like, and even now it still is. Like, it's just so.
That scene gives me chills because it's like it's that realization. He's like where he goes, oh, and it's that explanation because all of the evidence is there. It's spelt out to you 20 minutes prior. Is it Appalachians? No, that's a different story. Something like that. They've got 2 heads. And their entire mausoleum here, statues with 1 head each. And Weeping Angel story.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're all Weeping Angels in disguise that needed...
Not even mentioned the crack in the wall.
I mean, that's a great story arc as well.
Like, over the entire season, like, it's like, it's just so... Like, when I think of, like, an overarching storyline for a season, this is the season that I go to. I think about the crack in the wall, I think about the Weeping Angels across multiple seasons, like it's that kind of thing.
It's so good.
The Weeping Angels, they're not in that like crazy amount of episodes over the 3 seasons.
No, they're not.
But it's
people say they're overused. I don't think they are at all.
What?
I think it's because it's a new villain that's being overused. But I think it's probably one of the biggest known Doctor Who monsters now.
2 episodes in that season.
Dalek Sidemen, yeah.
Like, are they in series 6? God Complex.
Very briefly. They're in the God Complex in one of the rooms.
And then
that's not really a proper episode.
It's perfect.
And Village of the Angels.
Yeah, and Village of the Angels, yeah.
Yeah. But still, very
Goated.
cool. Very cool. I absolutely love it. I think Series 5 is brilliant. We all know it is. Series 5 and Series 1, though, for me, are the top. I mean, for me, Series 5 is currently third in my list. That could change depending on, like, rewatch.
Yeah.
Series 5 has this sort of whimsical, sort of magical charm to it.
Yeah. Music.
The music is just it's like a fairy tale, isn't it? And it works. I think it's gorgeous. Like, it's beautiful. And I think it gets credit, but I don't think it gets any. It'll never have enough credit for how good that series is and how it managed to take something that was like, okay, if this goes wrong, the show might die.
Yeah.
But they took it, they ran with it, they completely reinvented it. New TARDIS, new Screwdriver, new Doctor, new titles, new writer, slightly new production team, and they cooked. Beautiful. And they made a brilliant series. I just wish this is the thing is about like Series 6 and Series 7. I still enjoy them. I wish we could have had another series that was a bit more like Series 5.
Yeah.
A bit more of the actual adventuring and stuff. I don't know. A
bit more like the innocence.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It feels like child. Like it works so well. Series 5 is like childhood innocence. Like that's how it feels. Whereas Series 6 and Series 7 are a lot more serious.
Amy and Rory become very adult in Series 6. They're married and
even the Pandora opens is still like very silly. Like it's still very childish.
But it's designed in that way. But I think that's the thing. It's balancing that for Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And Moffat got very mature with his writing over time in Doctor Who, and I like that because I grew up with the show.
I think
that worked for it.
I couldn't imagine doing the River Song stories in a childish way. Like it worked very well.
Yeah, but I'd like to see some stuff that go back to that, and I think Russell's definitely doing a little bit of that now. But Series 5 almost blends in with like Series 4. Like it's a very smooth transition. Yeah. There's a lot of musical cues. I've listened to the soundtrack, and this is a complete tangent, and I will stop waffling. But there's a little thing I love is like it really settles you into Series 5. The first track you hear, it's called Down to Earth, and it's the piece of music that plays when Matt Smith's TARDIS is crashing immediately after a generation. And it's got this motif in it, which is like dun 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 dun. It's that, and that is actually a motif from the End of Time, when David Tennant on the spaceship is coming back down to Earth.
That's very clever.
And I can't remember what that's called, but it's another track called Something to Earth. I'll see if I can find it now. But it's one of those ones where it's like it immediately, even in the music and everything, it connects you directly to what you're familiar with. It makes you feel comfortable subconsciously. Speeding to Earth is the one in End of Time, and Down to Earth is the one at the beginning of Series 5. After this podcast recording, Cuba, I'll make you listen to both of them back to back. So, you can feel the motif in there, and it's the similarity. And without you even knowing, you're already comfortable. Yeah. You're already locked in to this completely new era.
It's so good.
I cannot describe the feeling when I watched the 11th Hour for the first time, and I saw the TARDIS crashing to Earth, and I was like, "Oh my god, this looks incredible! This is Doctor Who."
Good, isn't it?
And then the new titles start for the first time, brand new titles since I'd started watching the show. Fish Fingers of Custard. New Sonic Screwdriver, new TARDIS interior, so much new stuff.
I've literally got the Sonic Screwdriver down there. It's literally there.
Get it, Cooper. Go on. You know you want to.
I want to get it.
Get it. You know you want to. Come on, man.
You bought me this one, actually. It's old now. Like,
oh my god! Yeah.
It's a bit like.
Bit knackered. Those things do get knackered over time. You can press it when it's still up.
No, not this one. You can't. This is the original one.
You can press. There's a little button on the inside of the green bit.
Yeah, it's there.
There you go. It goes off. Your battery's knackered. You need to replace that. Yeah. Look at that. Fantastic.
There you go.
Anyway,
I love
this has been a long recording, and if you've sat through this entire thing, thank you. Bloody hell. We're going to do our segment that we always do. Isn't it? It's been very relaxing, actually. Very therapeutic, very demure, very mindful. I want to die.
Fuck you. I want to die.
I have a couple of people at work who'll appreciate that.
We literally did an episode where we both said we don't understand that meme.
I get it now.
I don't.
So, if you're unfamiliar with the show, we're not going to keep explaining this to you, by the way. So if you're not familiar by now, get familiar.
Go and watch Just News.
Just News is a segment we do at the end of every single podcast episode.
You know what?
Where we'll bring a news story in.
Okay. Last time we're doing it.
This is the last time we're explaining it. this is a segment that we come in at the end of every episode. Me and Cooper bring each other a news story. We read it out. The other one doesn't know what it is, and we have a bit of a laugh about it. We have done... this is our 31st episode. So we've done 31 of these news stories now.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy. And there'll be lots more to come. And after every 15 episodes, we do a Best Bits compilation. So last week, we did the Best of Just News Volume 2. If you haven't already seen that, it is on the YouTube channel, it's on Spotify, it's on all your best podcast providers. So wherever you're watching this or listening to this, go and watch it on there as well to see some of the best
Also,
of
one of
the last 15 episodes.
Not even that, one of the best intros we've done for an episode.
Oh,
Hands
yeah.
down. Hands
Work
down.
hard, brother.
Work hard, brother.
I'm
ready.
I
You've
really
been hyping
get
this
that.
news story up.
Oh, the thing is, I don't want to do it too much. You know, it's a hard one. But this is the one that I saw, and I thought this is genuinely, really, really funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
You ready, Cooper?
I'm ready.
A Burger King in Germany was demoted to just Burger after losing franchise rights. Now, click on the article and look at the photo. We're in for a corker. So, for those who can't see, it's basically a Burger King restaurant, and it's basically been demoted, so they've actually lost the word King from the sign, but they've kept everything else. So it's just a big white circle with a small word burger on it. Burger. You know what I'll say? At least you know what you're getting when you go there. Anyway, let me read this out to you, because it's a good one. Someone named at I Love Subnautica on X, the website everyone still refers to as Twitter, shared the most hilarious Burger King location in Germany. According to them, the spot gained such a bad reputation that Burger King decided to remove the franchise from the larger chain. In response to the exile, the notorious location has made the bold decision to simply go by Burger, rather than Burger King. And the funniest part is, they still kept the original sign and just erased the word King. Photos reveal a hasty makeover at the rebranded location, with remnants of its Burger King past still visible. This quirky transformation is matched by a menu that humorously riffs on classic Burger King items. Instead of the traditional Whopper, you'll find the classic Flux on offer. The menu features several items with Flux in names, including the Big Flux XL and the Bacon Flux. Despite the playful name, Flux is actually derived from Fuchs, a German word for fox. So if you actually open up the thing on Twitter, you can see there's a photo of a menu. I'll read through it. So you've got your buttermilk tenders, chicken wings, classic Flux, which is $7.99, it's pretty good. Big Flux XXL, bacon Flux, extra long chili chicken, large chicken, crispy chicken, classic Flux crispy chicken. Yeah. So
I can't believe this. I'm actually in disbelief.
The menu also features various chicken sandwiches that boast a tagline. Oh God, I can't speak German. This is going to be really embarrassing. I did German. I've got a C in GCSE, but this is a few years ago now. Dies Fuchs gibt es auch als plant-based, indicating some items are available in plant-based options. The comment section has been a riot, with one user joking, "Big Fucks XL was my nickname in high school," with another quipping, "Zero fucks given." Some praise.
I was going to make that joke before.
Some praise the restaurant's rebellious spirit, with one commenter saying, "Hell yeah, more chain restaurants should go indie like this." However, at I Love Subnautica pointed out, the thing is, they were forced to because they were kicked out of the Burger King chain for being like the worst restaurant I've ever been to.
That's so
Burger is located in Ingolstadt, Germany, about an hour from Munich by train, according to I Love Subnautica. It's not the first X-franchise to go rogue. Scrolling through the thread, I discovered several franchise rebellions. One user shared a photo of a place called BK Pizza that used to be a Little Caesars before it rebelled. Sorry, I should say. Speak English. It's my first language, but I don't speak it fluently. Another mentioned spot in San Jose, California, I believe, called Pizza Guys, which was formerly a Papa John's before breaking away 20 years ago. Whether or not these stories are historically accurate, the concept is intriguing. With the rapid changes in the fast food industry, this could become a growing trend. What do you think of Burger?
Honestly, We have to go. We have to go.
Oh
This
no,
is
we've got
so
so many content ideas for travelling.
So good.
I kind of would like to go to Burger.
I feel like Pizza Guys is a missed opportunity. Papa John's, you could have been like Daddy Steve's or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine McDonald's just get away, just Donald's.
Or just Mac. We're going to do
Just
Mac.
KFC, just FC. Just fried chicken. Or KF, Kentucky Fried. Oh my god.
Oh
Domino's.
god.
Domino's is what could Domino's be? Marbles.
Conkers.
Conkers. That's a good one.
Oh dear. I just love it. I love the photo is so funny to me. That they just
so good.
they complete obviously terrible Burger King.
I love it.
So bad that they just went, right, fuck it, we'll just keep the burger.
Taking the crown off.
I'm surprised they're allowed to do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I love it, and it was one that I saw and I thought it had to be part of Just News.
Big Fox.
And the menu items. I think that's completely innocent, but it makes the story funnier.
Why
Big
Fox?
Fox XL. I don't
Why
know, man.
Fox?
Why? I don't know. They just couldn't use the word Whopper, could they?
Well, yeah, but why would you choose Fox?
I don't know, man. You'd have to ask
Burger
them.
Fox.
Burger. I wonder if it's called. Hang on. I want to see if it's actually on like Google Maps. I wonder if it's actually called Burger on like. Yeah. Is that the reference to that fucking meme?
That's. Do you know the lad who said that? The Burger. He opened a burger chain in Dubai called Burger. Burger. This is so good.
I can't find the bloody thing.
I just love the fact that they took the crown away and painted over the king bit. Like, I just love.
I've got it. Here we go. It's temporarily closed. That's so depressing. It's still, it's still a.
My day's been ruined.
Yeah, I found it on Google Maps, and it is actually called Burger. On the Google Maps, you can kind of see the old Burger King branding, and it's still Burger King on Street View and everything.
That's so bad.
But it is the same. But it's the same one. It's literally the same.
They've actually just got white paint and painted.
That's the thing. It's a very recent thing. September 2023. It was still a Burger King. This is August this year. It was changed to Burger.
Oh my god, mate! So they've literally. I just found the Burger King. They've literally painted out King, which was in red. Painted out the buns, and then just painted out the blue bit around the edge, just in white paint.
That's absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
That's unreal. Oh,
I love it.
I love it. It's my new favourite
well,
fast food.
There we go. I'm very glad you enjoyed that as much as I was.
We stand on nostalgia bit.
I can't wait to have a burger one day.
I can't wait to have the burger.
I can't wait to have burger one day.
I can't wait to have Big Fox XXL.
What about food, mate? We're talking about food. Thank you so much for watching, listening. This has been a very quiet, somber, but kind of rambly and enjoyable episode. I hope it was anyway. Thank you so much for joining us for our Doctor Who series ranking, as rambly as it was. I hope you enjoyed it with a side portion of fries and a Big Fox XL. As it was, I mean, it was a 2-hour one. You could probably get a few Big Fox in there in that time. I hate myself. You just get that. Dude, like just a couple seconds delay. It's all right.
Yeah. I reckon you could get.
But anyway, yes.
240 fucks in there.
Oh, fucking hell! Depends how hungry you are.
Keep going. You've got to wrap this up.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching us over on YouTube, please subscribe, like, comment your favourite and least favourite Doctor Who seasons, of course. True. If you're on Spotify, drop us a follow, give us a 5-star rating, and also comment your favourite and least favourite Doctor Who seasons. If you're listening to us somewhere else, feel free to comment if you can, or just watch it on YouTube or Spotify. Whatever's the best. Yeah. We're growing our lovely little community here, and we're loving seeing a lot of the feedback at the minute. So thank you very much. We've just hit 200 subscribers over on the YouTube channel as well. Thank you very much for it's very exciting. And we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going.
We just keep growing. 0 fucks on Nostalgia Bait. No. Fuck. No. I messed that up. We don't give 0 fucks on Nostalgia Bait. Roll credits. Pan across screen. much.
And just as a little, and I know Cooper, you weren't expecting me to announce this on here, but I thought it would be a good time to say that if and when we get to a big milestone like 500 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, and we've talked about this, me and Cooper are going to celebrate by having a big Flux XL on camera. So, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will see you all next week.
Sweet,
have a lovely time. See you next Thursday.